WCB Podcast, your source for all things Chicago Blackhawks and everything hockey. With your host, Jarom and Tanner. Let's do it. Jarom and Tanner.
It is another edition of the WCB Podcast. It's Jarom. It's Tanner. What's up, bud?
Oh, we're almost done with hockey. We might actually be done with hockey.
By the time you are listening to this, we will know if it's Game 7 or Florida Panthers went back-to-back and Seth Jones and his stupid face are a Stanley Cup champion.
I hope it's not that. I mean, whatever. Let him kiss the sun and then fucking burn in flames next season. That's fine with me.
As long as we got their first pick, that's all that
As
matters.
long as that pick turns out to be a top 10 pick.
Yeah. So Game 6 is going on as we are recording, and the Panthers pretty dominant period, taking a 2-0 lead, and I don't think they're gonna blow this one. I think this is over tonight. But we could talk more about that when we get to NHL Talk. But let's talk Blackhawk hockey.
Yes.
We are a week out, a week and 3 days out from the first round of the draft, and things are starting to get interesting. A lot more, prospect talk going out there, and rumors of, it's Frondell, it's Martone, it's Miso or nothing. It's like a lot of
Martone wants to be here.
Yeah, well, you don't always get what you want. So
Shut up.
So one thing that was kind of going on last week is, last week's flavor of the week was Frondell. It seemed like everybody was saying Frondell's the guy at 3. And I did a tweet about saying I don't understand why everybody's talking about this, especially what we talked about last week about Kyle Davidson saying Bedard and Frankie Nazar are going to be centers. They don't envision them playing wing at any point. And with Frondell listed as a center, I'm like, I don't know why that made sense. And then there was somebody that pointed out, and I don't know this guy, if he's a legitimate scout, is he just a European guy that does kind of what we do, but pretty much saying that he doesn't understand where the whole narrative that Frondell was a center. He only played center for the Team Sweden because they were very understaffed because of injuries. He played mostly wing throughout the season. So if that's true, would you feel a little bit better about him being the pick?
Everywhere says that he's a center.
Frondell
has said he's a center.
Yeah. So
the team that he was on was, I think, they had a bunch of other centers, and him being, one of the younger guys on the team, I think that's what kind of bumps him out of the spot. It's the same thing that Misa played left wing other than this past season, he played left wing the previous 2 years because he was younger than the guys that they had at center.
Yeah.
It's I think it was, I forgot where I saw it, but it was just where do you see where do you see yourself in the future on the ice? It's I'm a center. He said it.
So I guess I should rephrase that a little bit. So the fact that he has played wing in the past, does that make him at 3 potentially a better? I mean, does that make you a little? What am I trying to say? Does that put you at ease a little bit with Frondell's the guy, he can adapt and play wing. Does that make you feel better? Does it not matter? Do you still think that he's not the choice to go at 3?
I mean, I'll be fine either way with whoever they choose. I just would prefer it to be the guy that's the true winger that could be one of the best playmakers in the entire class. That's what I would just prefer.
Yeah, that's fair. And I guess too, to bring that whole point together, why I even brought it up is that everybody lives and dies by these scouting reports and everything, and it just shows you that nobody knows what they're really talking about.
Right.
Like people, especially with these European players, like I don't think anybody truly knows what they're talking about. And you look at someone like going through, we joke about it all day, looking at the player comparison that the draft guide has, and it's just so like, how does that make sense? Like it doesn't make any sense how you compare this player to that. Like it's just one of those things that it's cool. It's information out there to kind of educate you a little bit, but at the end of the day, you're throwing darts blindly at a board with fucking teenage kids.
Yeah, pretty much. Like anything can happen. I mean, you could draft somebody second overall and they have a few good years, and then all of a sudden Fortnite comes out and it ruins their career, and you never know. Like stuff like that could happen. And, like I don't know if it ever has, but they might.
Wish I saved the post because it was talking about like, oh, if these teams could go back and redraft first overall, and it was like, was it Nico Heischer's year? Was Kale McCarr was like 8 or something like that?
Kale McCarr was 4.
Yeah,
it was Heischer and then Nolan Patrick and then Heiskanen and then Kale McCarr.
Yeah, and it's just like, you can Monday morning quarterback it all you want and say, oh, we should have drafted this guy, but it's like again, very very few times is there like a slam dunk for sure choice, and it's like anything can happen. So just remember that when you're getting angry next week at your team picking a child to go play for your team, just remember that.
It's not the child's fault. He's trying his best.
But what we could possibly be either getting angry at or celebrating is Frank Cervelli's latest, little rumor and trying to clickbait potentially, who knows, but apparently the Hawks are open to moving the 3rd pick, and they are looking for a player that can make an impact now.
Yeah, I didn't think that was news because I thought that was something that had came up before where Davidson said like if it's like they'll explore the option, but like now it's like the rewording it saying like they're open to moving it, but it's not like it's not like they're like they're not shopping the pick. I guess I think they're just listening to see if like what do people offer for it. I don't know. It's not like they're like they don't want the pick. Who wants it?
Yeah, and I think it's just when you see it phrased as and that's why I say clickbait, because it's like you see the phrase an impact player kind of thing, and it's like of course you have a fan base that is desperate to start winning hockey games again, and it's like okay, so let's throw that out there, but it's like what could an impact player even be? Like, are you looking at
maybe a left defenseman?
Are you looking at what we've been trying to push, the Jason Robertson? Are you looking at a Matthew Barzal type guy? Are you looking at like
Turca?
Yeah, like who else is up for
Marco Rossi? That's too much for Marco Rossi.
Yeah, I would not. Oh, dude, I would be so pissed. I've been Petey's biggest defender. If he traded the fucking 3rd overall for Marco Rossi straight up, I would be furious.
Kirill Kaprizov.
There you go. But
what if we did the 3rd this year and the 1st next year for Kirill?
We did 4 first for Kirill.
Yeah,
offer sheet him. Offer sheet him essentially.
Offer sheet him. Holy shit, you're crazy.
Give him like an offer sheet style thing. Instead of 4 years of 1st round picks, you just get 2 years of 4.
Maybe.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, again, we talked about it last week. I don't know how much to buy into like all these like rumors and alleged stuff, because it's like Kyle Davidson and his team keeps things very quiet. So it's like I don't know. I don't believe anything until it's like actually done.
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious to see, like, I hope that the rumors make their way out. I always like to hear about, like, oh, like this trade was talked about. It was in the works and then kind of fell through, like the trying to get the 4th overall pick last year from Columbus kind of stuff. Like,
yeah.
Like, what did the Hawks end up turning down if they end up making the trade? Or not making the trade, I guess.
or like what was on the table, and they passed on for another trade.
Mm-hmm.
I still personally think it's Misa or bust. I don't know. I mean, I know you're in love with Martone, and you are just ready to take the kid out on a date, and when he comes to Chicago, all that.
Yeah.
But
he has a room here ready for him.
Tanner's already got pictures of Martone over his wife's face in their wedding photos.
Oh God, no.
But no.
That'd be pretty fucking funny though.
But I think that they really want. I don't know. For some reason, I have nothing to back it up. I feel like Misa's they're what they want, and if they can't get him, I feel like they have no problem going back, like falling back in the draft.
Yeah, like it really. I think we just kind of mentioned before, but if they think that their guy is going to end up being like Frondell or something, like it's not a bad idea to maybe move back a few spots to see, because like I'm sure other teams have been reportedly high on like so and then this guy and then that guy, but nobody. It's just been like Frondell linked to like the Hawks the whole time, and it's like, all right,
yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting, and then. Too, it's like they drop back, and it's like, could they package that 25th to like drop back and / move up again kind of thing too? Like, it's just
like
so many,
like the 3rd and the 25th for Pittsburgh's 10th.
No, 11th. I mean, like say like they drop back to like 10 or something, and then they can use that 25th or whatever and 10th to move up to like, or what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know.
To move up to like what, 3rd?
Yeah, to move back to 3rd.
To move up to 4th.
It seemed better in my head as I was saying. It made more sense in my head, and then I started trying to explain what was going on in my head, and just nothing.
It just seems like you wanted to move back in order to move up by giving up another pick. I don't know. I see what you're saying though. The trades would involve more assets.
Yes, so there would be. I think that I was assuming like you can get 2 if you got like a Montreal that's got 2 firsts or something, and they give you both those first.
And Carey Price.
Dude, we're not. We'll get to that. We'll get to that, but it's still not changed my opinion. But
that's the only cap dump I would say the Hawks should.
No, we're not talking about it yet. We're not talking about that yet. That's part of the segment we're doing today. We're talking about that in the segment today. We're going to talk about that, what that idiot posted on PuckPedia.
Yeah, okay.
But, yeah, so, I mean, I think you got really anything else to talk about with the draft, because I think we're going to have a lot to talk about next week.
Yeah, that's what we'll just wait. No, we'll just wait. I'm just saying I could talk about the draft for the whole time.
Well, next week's going to be a big draft episode leading up. It'll be the week of the draft, and then...
Yeah, dude. Like, what are we doing at 25? What are we doing at 34? What are we doing at 62? What are we doing at 66? Jesus.
Trade.
Yeah, trade them all. Get rid of it.
All right, you told me to ask you about offer sheets. So, Tanner,
yes.
Let's talk about offer sheets.
Oh, dude. This is what I am so curious about now, too. So... You know how we kind of talked about the tiers like a while ago? Mm-hmm. If you remember, it's like lowest tier, no offer sheet compensation. Then it goes next tier's 3rd round, next tier's 2nd. The tier after that's 1st and 3rd. The tier after that is 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So those are all next year's picks. Mm-hmm. The tier after that, the tier after the one that's a 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, it is between $9,360,154 and $11,700,192. It is 2 firsts, a 2nd for next year, and a 3rd for next year. What I'm curious is the 2 firsts. It says in the next 3 drafts. So I
get the option.
Yeah. I'm wondering if you get the option to choose which 2 it is. Because if that's the case, you could like if you could still hold next year's and just give up 27 and 28, like you could offer like a Matthew Nyes or a JJ Peterka literally the minimum to meet that, $9,360,154, like 7 years.
That'd be interesting. But I also wonder if it would be like up to the team that you're stealing the player from. Like they get to pick which two they take.
I don't know. Like it doesn't specify. So it says in next 3 drafts starting 2026. So I don't know if that means it has to be
the 26 and 27,
like the earliest picks, or is it just because like you could technically not have your first next year, but you can have it in 27 and 28 and still qualify. Or obviously you can also like have next year's and like the one from 2028 and still qualify. But like if you have all 3, is it possible to choose?
How's the wording for the 4 first-round picks?
It says 4 first-round picks in next 5 drafts starting in 2026. And like that just to me means that like starting from the draft year 2026, within those 5 years, it's 4 of those picks. Because it obviously doesn't state it has to be like starting doesn't necessarily mean to me that it starts on that draft. It's just from that draft for the next 3, it has to be 2 picks, or from that draft for the next 5, it has to be 4 picks. So I'm wondering if there's like some funky business that could happen if they like. I'm sure it's not gonna fucking happen, but if they wanted to keep like make a bigger splash, not through free agency, but with the offer sheet, with a guy like Peterka who's 23, and you could offer him that 9.3, like 9,360,154. Fuck, you can do it for like a year. Like,
yeah, that's interesting. I've never noticed that. I was just always of the assumption that it was consecutive years. So it's like,
yeah.
Like it would be the next year's and the following year first, and then the 4 picks is the next 4 first-round picks.
And there's nothing that really clarifies it, other than like it just says if multiple picks from the same round are owed, teams are granted extra years to fulfill the requirement. And it says, example, owing 2 picks from the same round gives the team 3 drafts to deliver them. So
I almost would wonder if they were like, I would say like, this is just how I would think it would be. It's like, all right, next year's picks are automatically done, and then you have 2 more years to pick between for the last one.
I wish I could. I would like to like get the wording straight from the NHL.
That's a really interesting. I've never realized that. Like I've never read that wording before.
Yeah, I would really like to know that one, because for the most part, a lot of times when you're seeing it, it's just like, oh, it's 2 first-round picks and a second and a third, but it doesn't like all those like charts never say like within the next 3 drafts, and so that's why like I would love to see it legitimately from the NHL, like how they have it.
So now are you going to be like offer sheet somebody, and then it gets accepted, and then you go to trade a conditional first rounder, and it's going to be if this pick doesn't get used in an offer sheet, like is that going to be a trade condition on a first round that you're trying to trade with somebody?
I don't know. Yeah.
Like how Florida's first rounds are all tied up in different trades, where it was like the one that we're supposed to get from Florida was like on condition on if they're one with New Jersey, or was it Calgary or something, like if that one didn't get sold or something like that.
Yeah,
like
that's the one that we're getting next year.
Right, that, but there was like so many conditions, like, okay, if it doesn't go to this team because of this situation, then it goes to this team.
That was actually never mind. That was a few years ago. That was with the like Jarom trade, and then there was all those teams linked to like the same pick, but like different conditions on how they would get it. Oh yeah, it was so funny.
God, that's what I said. We talk about it every time like conditions come up like with trades, and we're always like, I would love to be that guy or be a fly in the room on the guy that has to come up with these conditions or like explain the condition. Like, all right, the moon is up on full on the second Friday, and so scores this many goals and plays.
Oh yeah, dude.
2 games less than this guy, and
wasn't it like the James Neal and Milan Lucic trade had like some like stats that go with it? Like if he gets 18 goals, it's the fourth becomes a third, and it's like
it was like really. Like, dude, I love those ones. Like I love complicated conditions like that.
Yeah, those got a little out of hand, and I feel like they kind of calmed down at this point. It's mostly just like top 10 protected, or like the Marchand one, which is like plays 50% of the playoffs, and they make it to the third round at least.
I wish would for because they do the whole like future consideration trades now just for shits and giggles. I think there should be some sort of condition associated with the future condition just to make it more fun. Like,
yeah,
this player ends up signing for whatever, so now your future condition becomes a third round, or like just something ridiculous.
It's like they start placing bets.
Yeah, right. But no, that's actually really interesting, and we got to look into that more and see if we can find out actual verbiage or see if anybody.
Yeah,
we found this too late. That would be, I think, a good question to send a 32 thoughts for their thought line.
I mean, we could still do it.
We could try. I don't know if they're gonna do a thought line after this one, but yeah. So
I feel like that's all they would get is just thought line.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they do another one. Oh, they'll probably do one through free agency.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense. Through the first, at least the July 1st. But yeah, interesting. Some minor Hawks news. The team, not Team USA. Well, it's part of Team USA, but the Olympic hockey teams announced their first 6 players for the rosters. The Blackhawks had 1 player represented, and I bet you if you put $1 million on this guy, you guys would have nailed it. But Lucas Reichel, Lucas Reichel was named one of the first 6 players for Team Germany, which that's awesome. I'm happy for him, and hopefully that's a good confidence builder heading into next season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially being named this early to it. With all the other names that are going out there, like it's got to be pretty special. Maybe go into the season like, all right, I got something I got to prove.
I'm not only Olympic athlete.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
But so it'll be interesting, and I can't wait to see who gets named for the rest of them. We'll talk more about who got named. NHL Talk. Kind of piggyback off of that. What's that guy's name? Mark? Is it Mark Russo or Mike Russo? He's a writer for The Athletic.
Mike Russo sounds right.
Yeah, so he was writing a thing talking about Team USA and potentially what the team could look like. And interesting tidbit, and I don't think it's going to happen, but he did say that after the performance in the World Championship, Frank Nazar and Alex Vlasic have definitely put their name on Team USA's radar as options. And now, if that means for this upcoming Olympics, or if it's just like, okay, going forward, once you start thinking about Team USA, these guys are going to be in for consideration. That's huge. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, after like the performance, especially that Nazar had at the Worlds, like kind of, be on alert.
Yeah, I mean, and the good thing, he's so young, so it's like he's got plenty of time where I think he could be a factor for USA for a lot of events going forward, as long as the NHL stays a part of it.
I can't wait till, maybe not this Olympics, but more than likely the next one or the one after that. We can get Frankie Nazar and Bedsy representing USA and Canada.
Gold medal game.
Going head to head.
Vlasic just puts Bedard on his ass to seal the win in the gold medal game too. Spencer Knight making a big save, shutout.
Spencer Knight, yeah. Vlasic, yeah.
Drew Comesso coming back up in case, just
That'd be sick. That'd be pretty sweet.
And then the last thing I have for Hawks news, we talked about last week that Victor Soderstrom, who was acquired from Utah, was likely not going to sign with the Blackhawks, and he definitely isn't going to be signed with the Blackhawks because he was traded to Boston for prospect Ryan, was it Mast?
Yeah.
And a 7th round pick, I believe, in this year's draft. Then
Yes.
Soderstrom went up and signed a 1-year deal with Boston. So
yeah, Ryan Mast was a former, I believe, 6th round pick.
he's a defensive player too. I didn't look too much into him, but
he is a defenseman, yes.
Yeah.
Which honestly, like, he's a right-handed defenseman. He's 6'5". It's not terrible because if you actually take I know we have a logjam at defense, right? But if you take a look at like just our minors, like the prospects that aren't really pushing on the door for the NHL jobs, like we only have like really 2 defensemen in the system right now. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so he's a 6th round pick. His first year out of junior, because he played in the OHL for the Sarnia Sting, he played in the ECHL for a majority of that season, and then joined the Bruins. I don't know if it was. I actually don't know what order it was in, but then he played for the Providence Bruins last year.
Okay.
I think. Oh, you know what? He might have started in Providence and then gone to the Maine Mariners because it looks like he played playoff games for them. But then he played Providence Bruins last year, and then you never know. Like sometimes, especially with defensemen, it takes a while, but like it could end up being nothing. But it's all right. We just kind of moved a pick for an opportunity, and then try to recoup something from it, and not really screw around with Soderstrom and be like, all right, if you want to not play for us, fine, whatever, who fucking cares.
Yeah. So it's just so funny. Like after that trade happened, I was like, this better not be the big move that the Hawks are making this summer. I'm like, dude, calm down. Like nothing can happen yet. So relax.
Yeah. And I think Soderstrom also saw like he's a right-handed defenseman. He's probably like not gonna fucking get ice time with Rinzel and Levshinov like being the guys that are coming up. Like it's like, come on.
Yeah, you gotta relax there. Like, I mean, we're so good.
Yeah. And now if he plays in Boston, I mean, I don't know what they have on their right side other than McAvoy, but he probably has a good chance at being, in that 2 or 3 spot on the right side anyway.
Yeah. So, all right. Do you have anything for Hawks talk left besides what we're about to do?
No.
No. Okay. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna have a little fun here with. I don't know if you guys listeners are familiar with PuckPedia. Kind of took over for Cap Friendly when Cap Friendly decided to sell out and go join the Washington Capitals. But this is, they have a PuckGM mode where you can go and do your rosters and make trades, hypothetical trades and all that. And it's actually really entertaining. And we've been talking about just going through some of these trades and just kind of seeing what people are talking about and if there's any legitimate trades on there. But we're going to call this, and this whole episode is going to be called, What Are They On? Because that is more or less what we're about to go through. So Tanner, you've been looking at these, so talk about some of the good ones.
So this is, I think one of my favorite things is the fact that every single Toronto roster has some sort of cap dump to the Hawks. So it's typically David Kampf. It's really funny. So in the PuckGM mode, you can like choose the Hawks and see like the most traded, top signings, and top acquired, and like that's if the guys are making rosters with the Hawks. But you can also see what people are doing as like the top signings from like Hawks players, the most traded of Hawks players, and then the people that are trading to the Hawks. And so every week for the past few weeks, the number 1 traded player to the Hawks is David Kampf, and then the number 2 traded player is Cale Yarncroke, and number 3 is Carson Soucy. Carson Soucy he's newer to the lineup because it's usually been like Max Domi. It's literally Toronto players. And I think my favorite part is that everybody in Toronto thinks that we're also going to pay like a 4th or better for any of these guys.
To take
like a Ryan Reeves. Yes. To take their cap dump. They think that the Hawks are going to pay them a 4th, that our 4th, like a fucking top 100 pick.
Can we refer back to the last time Toronto did a cap dump with us, and we ended up getting a goalie who was phenomenal for us and a 1st-round pick out of it? Yeah,
which is Sam Renzel.
Yeah.
Well, in that trade though, too, just to be fair, we did give them a 2nd, so we moved up into the 1st round for the cap dump, but also we got a starting goalie that we didn't have one before that. I think what was that right after we had?
I think a 2nd. Larry? Yeah, I think a 2nd for a 1st and a starting goalie is well worth it.
Yeah, and then if you look at some of the previous trades that we've made for cap dumps, like the one for Mikheyev, like that one, I believe was we gave a 4th, but we acquired like a 2nd and Mikheyev.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of funny to me that like a lot of people don't understand how cap dumps work. Like you don't gain like an asset to also gain cap space.
Yeah. Your asset is the cap space.
It's just like it's just so funny to me the way that let me see this again. So, it was the rights, early signing rights to Sam Lafferty, Ilya Mikheyev, and then a 2027 2nd rounder for a 2027 4th rounder. So that was a good one.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's funny. Let's see. The other thing that I think is really funny is the rosters that like some Hawks fans are putting together. I don't know why, but a good amount of Hawks fans think that the Hawks are going to be signing Mitch Marner for like $14 million. That's not happening.
For audio listeners, I'm just shaking my head no.
Yeah. It is interesting though to see like the moves where people think that, just not the common stuff where this one I think is kind of sick. It's just the 3rd for Barzal. Obviously, I think there would be more added, but like, yeah, that's kind of in the ballpark of what I would really like to do.
Yeah, but as I said before we start recording, the Islanders came out and said that they're not trading Barzal. Like it's not on the docket. So
that's exactly what somebody who's going to trade Barzal would say.
So if you go by that means they're also drafting Higgins 1st overall.
Yeah. And then, Jesus Christ, this person wants to trade a 1st and 2nd rounder this year for Ivan Demidov. That's not happening. I wish that there was like a really good one. Like, it's just so so crazy to me. Like, some people also think that Wyatt Kaiser's going to get like $3+ million. This person also right now thinks that we're going to be able to just sign Mason McTavish for 5.75 for 4 years. So that's cool.
Like that
we're going to actually we're going to give up the 3rd overall and Joe Veleno to get Mason McTavish and Anaheim's 1st.
All right. So here's another one.
Oh God, dude. And then everybody wants to trade for Isaac Howard's signing rights. But everybody's overpaying like crazy because I feel what was it like? What's the most recent one? It's like Jimmy Vesey and Adam Fox. Like whenever a team would trade for their rights, they were trading like a 4th because there's no guarantee that team is going to still be able to sign. But everybody thinks that like we're going to trade Lucas Reichel and a fucking second rounder to Tampa Bay just for the right to sign Isaac Howard, who still might not sign. Like, no, that's not how. That doesn't work that way. Stop doing that.
My one complaint about how PuckPedia does this, I wish that they showed like what the pick is for like, because I'm looking at one here. It was the Hawks receive Peterka. Well, not even gonna try to pronounce it, doesn't matter. And the Buffalo Sabres 2025 first round pick. The 9th. Okay, so he 9th overall for Lucas Reichel or Swa, the 3rd, the 25th, and a 4th round pick from the Rangers. Like, that just is ridiculous. That's so much to give up for something that you can just offer sheet. And I feel like you're going to give up a lot less in offer sheet picks than what you just gave up on that trade.
Yeah. And honestly, like, if we were to get Peterka, I would like to see him play alongside a Lucas Reichel.
Yeah. Just
get the fucking Germans going. There's been some real wild ones, which are just so fun. But this one's good. Tara Vinen, the 3rd and the 25th for Peterka, and the 9th.
Tara Vinen in the 3rd
and the 25th.
And the 25th. Why do they think 3-0 Florida? Why do they think that we have to give up so much for Peterka?
I don't know. Here's another good one because this is the same one. Ready? Nolan Allen, Lucas Reichel, and the 2026 Islanders 2nd for Jonathan Marchessault and Nashville's 1st round pick from Vegas. So a late first. And then wait for it. Now we're going to go to Dallas and we're going to trade them Kevin Korchinski, Nick Lardis, the 2026 Florida 1st, and the 2025 Vegas 1st for Jason Robertson.
That's such an overpay.
I'm just there is fucking 5 different 1st round picks that we're trading that they want to trade. Like, this is hilarious.
McTavish for the Ducks and the Ducks 1st round pick this year for Volino.
Yep.
And the Hawks first, the 3rd overall pick. And then they also trade Lucas Reichel, the Dallas 2nd round, New York's 4th round for Isaac Howard, Connor Sheary, and a 2025 7th round pick from the Mammoth.
Jesus Christ. This
what?
Dude, Hawks fans, we gotta figure this out because this is silly. This one is packed full of dog shit. So this is kind of a 2-parter, but there's like 7 trades here. The worst one is Gavin Brindley and Cole Sillinger from Columbus just for straight up Connor Murphy. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But this is my favorite. This is part 1 of 2. So taking Ryan Ellis, who's LTIR from Philly, and then Philly's 1st rounder this year, which is 7th, and then their 1st rounder next year, 2026, for just our 2nd this year and our 2nd next year, and then.
Sure.
Okay,
wait, I don't know. How long is Ellis's signed for?
I don't know, but this is a Hawks fan doing this. They think that Philly's just going to give up 2 firsts to get 2 seconds back to get Ryan Ellis off the books. But then we're going to take our 1st this year, the Philly 1st, which is 7th, right? This year. And then the 3rd rounder for us this year, which is 66 for the 1st overall.
What are we playing way too? Philly is the 6th.
It's the 6th. Okay,
yeah, Boston 7th.
So 3, 6, and 66 for 1 for the 1st.
People are playing way too much NHL 25.
Yeah, dude. I honestly I'm curious if people are running these trades through the fucking NHL 25 sim, and it's like it worked there.
All right, how about this? The 3rd overall pick to so the Hawks are getting the 1st overall pick. Okay. they're giving up their third overall, their 25th, and Kevin Korchinski.
Yeah, no, that's way too much. That's way too much. I really do not believe that the Hawks should be doing any of that.
Oh my god! And I'm sorting these by all trades that have been made in the last week, and then I go sort by top most commented trades.
Oh yeah.
So here's this one. Ready?
Yeah.
Chicago gets Carey Price and a 2025 first round pick for future considerations. Chicago then trades their third overall, the pick from the Canadians, and the 25th overall to the Islanders for the first overall pick.
Yeah. What does it say with those trades? Does it say something about those? That was my idea because that shit's hilarious. Fucking yeah, dude. The fucking Canadians could go from having like 8.7 in cap space for the summer to 19.2 and like really revamp the squad instead of carrying the Carey Price contract all the way until day one of the fucking season. That's the only cap dump I would say the Hawks should take. Anyway, and then I was asking if it would probably be enough to do 3, 16, and 25 for the first. I don't know. I'm just saying if it would go through, I would do it as a Hawks fan.
I still don't I just don't know why you would need to do that.
To get Misa, just have Carey Price on the books for one season.
What I think really bothered me when you were like pleading and making your case about this, dude, you were going hard trying to like make this like turn me to your side on this.
Yeah.
Every time you said, when I would like say, well, no, and you're like, yeah, but what about the possibility of drafting X or the possibility of having X? It's like,
yeah,
I don't want to do anything stupid like crazy like that for that possibility. It has to be like a guarantee.
I don't see what's stupid about.
And then I was like, okay, if you want to do that kind of stuff and land Jason Robertson, then you're like all of a sudden like, okay, fine. Then you go and you change all the stuff up, and you're like, Jason Robinson, this and that, and it's just like, no, man, you don't need to do that.
Just give it the 16th and the 25th for Jason Robertson. There you go. Jason Robertson. It could be a Blackhawk.
Oh my god, I don't know.
All I'm saying is the possibility of being able to do more by somehow offering to take Carey Price's contract, since Montreal has 2 firsts. They have 2 fucking firsts back-to-back.
I think the Hawks are past that. I think they're past the point of doing this.
Think that. But the Hawks aren't looking to make a big splash this summer, which means they're not looking to sign anybody for like 10 plus, which is fine. It's great.
Yeah.
But like the whole reason why it would be such an expensive cap dump for Montreal is because Carey Price is owed like a $5.5 million signing bonus, but his signing bonus, for whatever reason, because it's worked into his contract, is not July 1st. It's September 1st. So in order for them to make any kind of moves with like maximum cap space this summer, they would probably want to move him by the draft or before then and free up $10.5 million to spend during the summer.
Well, it would have to be done before the draft.
Or at the draft.
Right. It would have to be, it would have to be done before July 1st. So yeah, before Tuesday after the draft. So
yeah. And so if it's like you really want to be a big player this summer where you can maybe make some moves, have lots more cap space, maybe you think about, as Kent Hughes, the GM of the Montreal Canadiens, moving the Carey Price contract. If the Hawks have to toss in like a fucking second or third to get one of those like first round picks, I don't think it's a bad idea. Because you can.
I also think, I don't know, like I also am in the point too that it's like, yeah, I understand your reasoning. Like this is a year that you can get away with doing it, but I also think that there's a message thing to be sending out there to the fan base and all that,
Yeah.
and with the moves they're making, and I just don't know what taking on another contract, what that message, you know what I mean, how the message is going to come across. I
And
just
then
think
what
that
if
like
you package those picks for the 4th, and then you take Frondell and Martone?
how much NHL 25 have you been playing?
Not enough. Not enough.
I just, yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from. I just don't like it. I'm looking at it as from what they've said at the end of last season about how this team needs to take a next step. And I know they're not like, it's not looking like they're going to be adding a lot of big pieces or making a big splash, which they they could be doing that. Like, who knows? But I think like with the way they were talking about it, taking on another big contract and not doing another big move, like a big contract as a cap hit, is just sending the wrong message to the way the rebuild's going. If this was last year, I think it's a lot easier to say, yes, that's a great move. And I understand all that. I feel like just where this team's at in the rebuild, that's my issue. Like, I just think the point of where it is in the rebuild now, and where it's trying to make that turn to start the climb up. That's why I think this is just the wrong message. It's the wrong move in that way. But I mean, if it adds all the pieces that you're miraculously saying that they're going to get, then it's like, all right. But
Could be Jason Robertson.
If it's that, but that's the thing too. It's like, it's almost as much as I would want Misa or something like that, and to make a move for like that. It's like, we've talked about it. Like, we need probably one more good forward prospect in a draft. And then after that, it's gotta be NHL ready talent. Like, and guys that are proven and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's like they gotta start making that change. And what does that mean? Like, does that mean now? Does that mean with this trade? And it's like, okay, this is our last hurrah kind of thing. Like, I don't know.
I mean, you just get the Carey Price contract on the books, and that kind of just saves that $10.5 million in cap space for when McDavid doesn't want to resign because the team's trash. And you just go like, well, we already have 10.5 ready for you right now. Like, I'm sure we can get another 4.5, get you 15. You're good. Come on to Chi-Town, baby.
Yeah. It's just, I'm just adding more draft picks just doesn't do it for me anymore. Because we have so many.
Right. I understand that. I'm just assuming because like I don't think we use the 25th.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't say we would use that like 16th or 17th as much as like maybe that's what gets Peterka is like those 2 late firsts, something like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of those picks, I think that 3rd overall, obviously, and then those 2 seconds, I think get used, and then after that, I think it's all like up for grabs.
It'd be really funny if just like fucking draft day, it's like we have a trade to announce. The Islanders trade 1st overall to the Blackhawks for all of their 2025 picks. Like, okay.
Oh man, but I'm honestly surprised you didn't try throwing Bertuzzi in that trade somehow.
I just don't think that like it's just so. Oh, that's the other thing too. Oh my god, with that PuckGM, everybody thinks that we're gonna trade Bertuzzi, but also that we're gonna retain half on Bertuzzi for the next 4 years. Like I don't know what it is, and people just like they're like, oh, they'll retain salary for 4 fucking like we're already retaining salary on Seth Jones for like 5 years. Like they're not gonna do that again.
Right.
That's not gonna happen. It's so weird.
Yeah,
like,
I don't understand.
Also, stop trying to trade the Blackhawks. Like it's not gonna happen. No, stop trading left-handed defensemen to the Blackhawks. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna happen. We don't need it. Stop it.
So if you like the cap stuff and if you like looking at dumb people, go on PuckGM and take a look on PuckPedia. All right, let's wrap this up so we can watch the third period before it gets kicked off. Nice little transition from Hawks Talk to NHL Talk. Jonathan Toews back in the news, talking about how he wants to try to have his decision made before the draft. And it's looking like it's down between Colorado and Winnipeg. And then I also saw Tampa is making making a push there. And I said before we started recording, I'm like, of course it's going to be a freaking Central Division team, so that we have to see him multiple times a year. It's like at least Kane, it's only twice a season.
But how? I just don't understand. How is Colorado gonna? I guess they can obviously trade somebody, but right now they currently have 1.2 in cap space.
He'll probably take one. I bet you he takes one, and then it's like,
yeah, but they don't have. They need to still sign other people.
I think they'll make Colorado just makes sense because it's Joe Sakic is the leader there, and that's his idol growing up was Joe Sakic. And then Winnipeg, obviously his hometown. I think that would just be cool.
Yeah, fucking Colorado to me just doesn't seem like it would make sense, because looking at their roster right now down the center, it's like McKinnon, Brock Nelson, Charlie Coyle, Ross Colton, Jack Drury, but whatever. Like they have like 4 centers already.
They're gonna make him play wing.
That's weird. I guess one of them would have to play wing and not Toews. I wonder if he'd still be really good at faceoffs. Is that something?
Because that's one thing. Like, I mean, that's where it made sense that you put him on the wing in like key situations, and it's like you have 2 centers out there just in case.
He went on his trip to India to like get healed, but also like work on his faceoffs.
Yeah, he traded off his faceoff powers for healing.
I think Winnipeg, just for the fact of like the depth chart, makes a lot of sense for the centers, because Scheifele is down the middle, Adam Lowry's down the middle, and then fucking third line center, baby, maybe second line center, because they suck.
Yeah. The other team that was talked about too is Anaheim, which I thought made a lot of sense kind of for what the Ducks are doing right now. One, you have Q in there, and of course Toews and Q's history. They just made a big trade. Well, I don't know, big trade, but they made a move, pick up Chris Kreider from New York. So it's like they're adding more experience and vet pieces, and bringing in a Jonathan Toews would be great for them. And it's like you could put him in a lower role, and he can be a big factor in mentoring a lot of those young guys out there. And his new hippy dippy life will fit out perfect in Anaheim. So,
California coast.
Yeah, so that'll be a really good thing to look at. We talked about the Olympics a little bit. Do you want to mention any names that you like or surprised that got picked?
I don't think anything was really surprising. I'm just excited. I
guess this one name. Were you surprised that Hellebuyck wasn't named the first 6 for USA?
Actually, that was a little bit surprising. They just announced that he won the Hart and the Vezina, and then they're like, "Yeah, you're not one of the first 6, though."
Yeah,
we saw that shaky fucking playoff start. But yeah, I mean, honestly though, like Team USA, like how could you go wrong? Quinn Hughes is disgusting. Charlie McAvoy he was awesome until he got hurt. Like, yeah. Jesus Christ.
I think Noli said it best when he was like, do you think McAvoy was like, yeah, I'll accept if you guys get a better training staff?
Yeah, get the med staff. Both Kachucks makes a lot of sense. Jack Eichel was probably one of the best players. Austin Matthews. I don't know, man. Like, we need big game players.
He just ain't it. So, then I guess the last thing to really talk about is the Stanley Cup Final. Game 6. It's going on as we're recording. Their second intermission. Florida's up 3-0.
3-0.
I think that's all she wrote. I think the season is over tonight. And then tomorrow when this gets posted, I'm gonna get made fun of for the worst comeback in history. Like Oilers come off and just score like 7.
I was gonna say it's gonna be like 9-3.
Yeah. So Hockey is coming to an end.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's nice that there's not a lot of time between now and the draft.
I like that there's a week, even if this goes 7, like Oilers come back and this goes 7. I like that there's going to be a week between Game 7 and the first round of the draft. Like the last few years,
Did you want to bring up the thing that Pierre LeBrun had said?
Do you want to do that now, or do you want to talk about that like as another episode?
Oh, that was just gonna be like a quick. Oh no, I was just gonna say bring what he said, and then we can come up with our own stuff later on.
Yeah. So he tweeted out talking about like if he was commissioner, there's a few things he would do. One of them would be shorten training camp and preseason, drop the puck on September 15th. So the Stanley Cup is awarded by May 31st. Move draft earlier in the year, June, as a result of the season ending earlier, and then move opening of free agency within 48 hours of the end of the draft.
Yeah.
See, I like it, but I'd like July 1st. I like Canada Day being free agency.
I'm just like also thinking like free agency being 48 hours from the end of the draft, right? Is that what he said? Yeah. Isn't that what it fucking is already? It's July 28th. July 28th is the last day this year, and then
I think he was saying,
and then the 1st.
So I think he was saying like you would still move the draft and free agency together, like instead of like being like. So like the draft is June 2nd or whatever. It would be June instead of still being July 1st.
Got it.
Yeah.
I mean, it just feels like. I guess it's fine. I don't know.
I'm all for starting the season earlier, but I think that it's never going to happen because they don't want to compete with NFL as much as possible. And they
some baby shit right there.
Well, there was a rumor at one point after was it COVID or something that because the whole schedule got changed. And that they were looking to like, okay, well, the whole schedule's all changed, so now we can maybe change the time frame for the season. And they were looking to start the season when NFL ended.
That's dumb.
Yeah, and they were going to go, so it would be essentially be NHL would be from the end of NFL to basically the start of baseball or end of baseball or something like that, or like I don't know. It was like really like
whoa.
Yeah, so it would have been summer hockey, basically.
Summer hockey? How are they going to do a winter classic with summer hockey?
It'd be start the season. Of the year. Yeah, the first season game of the season is a winter classic.
That's ugly. I don't like it.
So thank God that never happened.
Yeah, those fucking idiots.
I heard that through a brand manufacturer.
Oh,
rep.
Brand rep.
Yeah,
what's his name? Name him.
Yeah. So, all right, episode 324. Let's get off so we can watch the third period. Like we said, what are they on? Is the title. This one, I took it out of your hands there, Tanner. You struggle a little bit, so I'll give you.
I struggle every time. I don't know what you're talking about.
Which is so funny to me because it's like 324 episodes, and you're still surprised every time when I ask you what you want to call it.
Yeah, dude, because I don't fucking think about it the whole time. Got so many other things going on in my head.
All right. So, dude, next couple weeks are going to be fun episodes. We're going to do a big draft preview next week. I think we might have the return of little Andy Petzinger next week. Nice. And then the following week, we got free agency day one recap. All falls on the same day. So, lots of news to talk about. I think we just be fun a couple weeks. So make sure to follow us on your favorite podcast feeds. Apple and Spotify are the big two. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, all social media at WCB Podcast, and we will see you on the next one.
All right. Likewise. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the WCB Podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast. To connect with Jarom and Tanner, check out the boys at WCB Podcast on all social media. We'll see you next time.